Welcome back to the show. Jeffrey Brown is one of the principals in BCRA, a multifaceted 150-person architectural and design firm in Tacoma. Welcome.
Thank you, Emily.
Jeffrey, your primary business is in architecture and design and really all things building, but you found yourself really going into a new direction here lately, and that's really into communications. And you've become kind of a hub for disseminating good news. How did that happen?
Okay, that's a great question. No, we are an architecture engineering company. We are 160 people now, by the way, just because we've been growing. But the reason why we got into this was because we work with a lot of clients, a lot of vendors, a lot of just people in the community who, you know, in the aftermath of this, or actually in the middle of this particular economy, are really feeling pretty fearful. And you know, we certainly carry the same kinds of concerns because we actually read and hear the same things, but we also know that it's important to counteract the kinds of news and things that we've been hearing in the news with actually good news, because there are good things to say about what's going on. So we decided that we would like to basically host a campaign that would allow other people to do what we would call press releases to really project their good news. So it was really a matter of calling up some companies that we know and asking them if they would be willing to participate, and we have 33 so far. And we just report on a 2-week basis, and there should be a 3-month program in all, and we'll see how it works, and if it works well, we'll just continue on.
And so, well, your industry in particular, in building and engineering, I know that that sector has been hit fairly hard by a downturn in the economy. Are you finding those stories hard to find?
Well, they might be hard to find in the construction and design industry, but not all of our participants are in that industry. Many of them are in accounting, or they might be in communications, they might be in the medical field. So we really have a large cross-section of those 33 companies that are from other sectors. And even if it is engineering and architecture, there's still good things to share.
Your company has been, I find to be remarkable, because you have been awarded not only a fastest growing company as well as a top place to work, but this is something that, would you classify this effort in utilizing your communications team for really a public service? Would you consider this to be community involvement? Is this business development? How did you go about incorporating this into your business?
I think it's probably both in some ways, to really be honest. In some ways you could say it's promotional, but it really is not. Really the core of it is really getting good news out there. And we see the economic situation now in terms of all of us being in the same boat together. And what is really driving people with the news that we've been hearing is really the word fear. It's fear. And what people are needing is encouragement. So we want to bring encouragement through good news. And we believe that good news begets good news, and bad news begets bad news. So hence, good news. And we think it's having an effect. And a lot of people are very excited about participating, by the way.
And how are you getting the news out? Which, are you participating with many different media, or do you concentrate on just local news?
Well, we're looking at, currently we work with Business Examiner, and Business Examiner is a publication, I believe, that is very focused on good news and positive things in our community. That's, I believe, the focus. We've had 2 other newspapers approach us about actually giving them news as well, and so we've been working with them as well.
Good. Do you see, if these stories are there to be told, why do you think it is that businesses are not sharing these stories themselves? Why does it take someone like yourself to say, hey, there's got to be something, you know, there's got to be a good story to tell? What's the barrier?
I do have a theory. And I think a lot of times the news that you see from companies will be from publicly traded companies. There's not many private companies that don't have public exposure. They're really volunteer news. We're one company that does, because we think it's important to get the news out. But for the most part, a lot of companies, particularly the ones with good news, just kind of keep it to themselves. There's an example that I would like to bring up that would be, it's JL Darling Company that produces Right in the Rain products. They exist on the Tacoma Tide Flats. They've been here for, I think, a couple of generations. I don't think many people have heard of them, really, but they have a worldwide reach, and they reported that they were growing 32% this last year. And that, I think, is wonderful news, and it affects all of us.
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of companies. I know that the ones that tend to be in the media, you're right, they are typically the larger organizations, and then we all react as though those impacts are going to be equal among local businesses. In your own business, would you say that a lot of the reaction that maybe your employees or others in business are having, do you think that they're real, or do you think that they are, fear-based just based on the news that they're hearing?
Well, I think there's certainly real things out there that we need to be concerned with. And I believe if I could just kind of reach back into recent history of the last 2 years, we've definitely had some undercurrents in our economy that are very real. They're very systemic, but we've also had a reaction to those through media and just through the hype of our technology that's actually perpetuated that problem. With our particular company, we do try to focus on good things. We aren't afraid of failure. When we look at failure, we look at opportunity at the same time. And so it's really a matter of how you look at life and how you look at business that really affects how you perform. And that's really the core message that we would want to get out.
Well, Jeff, thank you so much for the work that you do with your core business in our community, and certainly this effort to get the good news out there for the rest of us.
You're welcome, and thank you for having me here.
Yeah, absolutely. Up next, we will talk with an economist who combines his academic studies with the realities of the local marketplace. Stay tuned.
Tired of learning like this? Try learning like this. At Clover Park Technical College, we offer more than 50 degree and certificate programs designed to give you the skills to launch your career. Choose Clover Park and find out why we're the leading technical college in the Northwest. Clover Park Technical College, changing lives, building futures.